I've got Mick Logan with me from NECA in Queensland. Mick, why couldn't NECA persuade the ACCC to replace all the Infinity cable?
Well, the ACCC consulted a number of organisations. We spoke to the ACCC about our support for the Does It Comply campaign. NECA is very supportive of compliant and safe products. In this particular instance, there was some unique circumstances which meant that replacement of the product was more difficult than normal. Whilst our arguments were heard, there were some practicalities as to practical difficulties as to how the product could be removed without sending electricians and suppliers into bankruptcy.
Yeah, but Mr. Logan, the recall is taking far too long, isn't it? It's been a long, drawn-out process from the first time. I think it was Queensland were the first people to place a ban on it, first state to do it, and now the ACCC's got involved. What are the risks of this taking? What are the real risks of something going wrong with this Infinity cable?
Well, this is something we don't know. NECA is undertaking some research at the moment to see how long the safety issue is going to take to emerge. At the moment, we haven't had any fatalities or fires, and we want to keep it that way. We have about 4,200 kilometres of this cable in Australia. 3,800 kilometres is still out there, so that's a major concern. As you can appreciate, it would probably take a long time. It'll take a long time to get all that cable out. We've got to identify where it is. We've got to get people there to pull it out, and we've got a situation where the importer of the cable has gone into liquidation. So we need time to sort this through. NECA is researching how much time is involved so that we can get the cable out before the first house fire or fatality occurs.
Yeah, but is it time for it to degrade? Is that what you're investigating? I don't quite understand.
Yes, that's what we're looking at the moment. So cable normally would last 40 years, a new cable would last about 40 years. We think that this cable will last somewhere between 3 and 10 years. We're not sure. We want to get a bit more clarity around that. And then if it is 3 years, well, we need to really act much more quickly than what the ACCC is currently saying.
Do you think the government and the regulators understand the urgency and they should be doing more about it?
I think they understand it. I think they also understand the scope of the problem. I mean, when you have cable through buildings, the removal of that cable requires the disassembly of those buildings. There's a lot of money involved. The people who cause this problem are in liquidation. So really, we need to keep our industry afloat so that this cable can be removed without businesses going to the wall. So the government does need to support our members, our electrical contractors and our industry.
But the government's the only one who can actually support them, isn't it? I mean, the only one with the money to back them up. I know Masters and a couple of other the organisations have agreed to sort of do something for it. But in terms of I mean, what the industry has to do, I would have thought, to find out if I had electrical work done since 2010, I've got no idea. I can't get up in the thing, so I've got to get an electrician, right? To come along and check what cabling I've got.
Yeah, that's NECA's message to the householder.
Yeah, but then if he finds that I haven't got the Infinity cabling, then I'm up for a couple of $100 for him to do this. Who's going to pay that?
Yes, that's a pertinent question. In the normal course of events, Infinity Cable would have to pay for that to happen. The difficulty with our industry is that the supply of equipment has gone global. As you know, you can buy equipment through the internet and the nature of the whole industry has changed. Regulators are still catching up with how to make sure that that works properly, and we want them to move a little bit faster. But there are difficulties. In this instance, at the end of the day, the consumer will have to bear some cost. If it turns out that there is no cable in their premises, but I think that cost will be small in comparison to the peace of mind that they will get and their insurer will get from knowing that their house is safe, and also in the event that they sell their house that they can assure the new owner that it's safe.
Mr. Logan, we've had Infinity cables, we've had Olsen cables, and now we've got e-cables. Your industry has a real problem using dodgy products, doesn't it? Is it because they want to cut corners?
Well, I don't think it's just our industry that has problems with product. We see it right across the building industry, the globalisation of the market creating problems. And this problem has occurred in other industries, pirating of movies and records, that sort of thing. The internet has caused a borderless market, and the regulators really do need to come together internationally to work out how to regulate this type of problem. Australia is about 1% of the world market, so there's some limits to what we can do in terms of influencing, but I would recommend that the government get involved with the US and involved with the European Union to influence the situation, to improve the situation. NECA is certainly undertaking research and doing their part, but we can't do it on our own.
Okay. That brings me on to the next question. What do you see as NECA's role in this whole business?
Well, as an industry association, we need to work out how long this cable can be left in situ before problems arise, so that we can have a sensible removal program that's not going to be so cost prohibitive that would put our memberships, businesses out of business, or to cost a lot of money to householders unnecessarily. So we're in the process of trying to gather that data to put a sensible plan in place. This is not, the scope of this problem is huge, and we can't come at it without knowing exactly how long we've got to remove it effectively.
I can see that NECA is sort of represents the big end of town, if you want to talk about it in that sort of terms, in the electrical contractor business. You represent the big ones. What relevance do you see NECA as having for the smaller contractor, the one-man band type of guy? Because I understand they're flocking to join the MEA throughout Queensland.
Sam, whilst we do look after the big end of town, the larger contractors, and that's been our base, it probably only makes up 5 to 10% of our membership in numbers. We do have up to 90% of medium to small industries. As you know, our industry and most industries in Australia are largely made up of small and medium enterprises. That's why NECA is such a good association for them to be a part of, because we can provide them with that research and the support that they need to run a legitimate business that knows all of the rules and regulations, and they're increasing. Business owners are struggling to keep up with rules and regulations today. And NECA feels that we can provide that support to make sure that our industry is safe and professional.
Okay then, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
That was good. Take that off first.